is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. We are back with the OG. You saw in the last video we've installed the Vengeance clutch, the T56 Magnum. Now it's time to do the rear end swap. Very excited about this. Independent rear suspension. I've had it in my Terminator before and my Silver Terminator, and also my 01 Cobra. The IRS has a different feel. It's just really going to kind of complete the car, especially just installing basically front to rear. Everything is pretty much new. So we got a low mileage 0304 Cobra IRS. We're going to be slapping in there. I thought we got some springs, but these are actually some fronts. So we're just going to run some cut stock springs for right now. Brad has already started pulling the rear end. Very excited to get this all together because this is just really bringing together the full street car, you know, the tail of dragon car that I want, you know, 93 octane, 700 horsepower, and we can just go out, rip this car, drive it anywhere, and just have a blast. Everyone say hello to Mr. Brad.
Hello.
What you doing?
Well, I made it kind of hard to get to the upper shock.
Pulling the shock.
I made my bed, so I'm laying in it.
Yep. So we're actually going to go ahead and get the rear end dropped out of this. Obviously, this car is a factory solid axle. Will now be an 0304 Cobra IRS. Some of you guys might be wondering about the exhaust and how that works, you know, with it being independent rear suspension. In our case, side exhaust, no issues whatsoever. Bolt that right on, ready to go. So we won't have the IRS pipes in the back of this car. I will be keeping the side exhaust on it. But yeah, let's get into dropping the rear end and then hopefully getting the IRS back in here. So I also picked up some goodies from Full Tilt Boogie Racing, some additional hardware I needed. We got the DSS drive shaft, we got that from Lethal, my friend Steve. If you guys need anything, hit him up. And then, yeah, just the whole IRS assembly itself. I got the low profile IRS bolts. We got the brakes. What else we got? Yeah, brakes, brake lines, those are important. We got rotors. So yeah, overall, I think we should have everything we need to get this in and rolling. So I'm very excited. This one's also at 373. So that's also going to work out well because that's what I have gear ratio wise right now.
Get the tension off the springs, pull the springs out, get these guys off. We'll be good to go. Anybody need some springs?
There she is. The old rear end. Good old faithful. Ashley's cousin Elijah did the gears on this all that time ago. 373s, a rebuild kit. Very nice. All right, so we've been very busy in the shop, fulfilling orders and all the other things, but it is now the next day, and we're trying to get the IRS in.
Like 2 days later.
So I want to film some of the struggle. Yeah, I don't even know. We want to film some of the struggles that you're going to have putting an IRS in your solid axle car, and a car that has seen some rust. Do we want to say seen some rust, or it's been weathered? It's been well weathered.
This is definitely a car that has seen some rust.
So Brad actually had to tap all of these holes. So obviously they've never had a bolt in them, right?
Well, these two up here, they're the quad shock mounts. So from the factory it would have had those, but they've been out for God knows how long. So weather gets in there, salt corrodes it, it just boogered up all of the threads. So I took a tap, chased the threads. These weren't that bad because they've been used before, but these two down here, which have never been used.
Right, so those were...
They were fun.
Yeah, since 1999, they've never seen they're virgin holes. I mean, that's the best way to put it, right?
Yeah.
So shout out to Full Tilt Boogie Racing. I picked up all the hardware we didn't have for the IRS swap, including I also got the low profile IRS subframe bolt.
Yes, and they look really nice too.
So the reason why I got that is because I'm running a 335 rear tire, and the tire tends to stick over quite a bit. So with that stock IRS subframe bolt, it's just not going to fit. I was too cheap to buy the Full Tilt Boogie Racing bushing kit, so we're putting her in stock, and you know me, it's going to be like, well, yeah, Brad, let's drop it out and do all the bushings at some point, but I just want to get the car in and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Speaking of
workflow.
Yep. Yeah. Speaking of never, like literally, we never get a continuous like hour to work on a project.
I think I'm right at my hour mark, and that has allowed me to put one caliper on and get these done.
Yep. Not complaining. We are staying busy with Freedom Parts Outlet, but we got a bunch of pallets going out today, and as you can see, we got 2 Gen 3 short blocks, we got a rear end going out the door, we got some seats. Of course, if you guys need any parts, especially S197 New Edge, we have a lot of. We also have a built motor turbo 4-valve car we're parting out, and really a bunch of New Edge stuff. So yeah, let's get back to the IRS swap, but we have to go deal with the regular business stuff. The project cars are basically our break from when we strip a car, so we can catch up with inventorying. So that kind of works out for, you know, the Mustang lifestyle portion of things. All right, so one of the things I noticed that was old on this IRS, so we got a new set of those. Every other bushing looked good except, wait, where'd it go? There. I didn't see this until now. We're gonna have to order one of those, but I think I can do that in car.
I don't see why we shouldn't be able to.
Dying. Yep, that's the sway bar end links. So yeah, once you drop the bolt out of that one, I believe you could slide the bushing in place, right?
Yeah, probably.
It's fairly easy to access in car. So I think that's the only one, because subframe looking good, cross axis looking good, the lowers looking good. Really, everything looks good except we just found that one. That one will definitely make some clunking. So we'll get that addressed. No big deal. We'll get her in, running, driving, get that one done. That would definitely cause some serious wheel hop. I can tell you that much. All right, so what are we doing, Brad?
Cleaning. Spray down with the greaser. Hopefully make it look close to new.
Yep. What you think, Brad?
I cleaned up really well. I'm very happy with it.
Oh yeah. Very nice. Looks so good.
And if you look up really quick, you get Kristen on camera.
She doesn't want to be on camera. Very nice. Hey Brad, you want to tell
the issue? So solid axles have a pinion snubber, and that pinion snubber, which is basically a bump stop that stops the pinion from maxing out when it hits bumps and smashing into the subframe and the car body, we have maxed out on that. So because of that, it's not allowing, so that's that guy right there. So because of that, it's actually hitting our frame for the subframe on the IRS, and we're actually lifting the car. So,
and that was causing us to max out here on the rear subframe of the IRS. We were kind of chasing our tail there for 15 minutes or so. All right, so the IRS is in. We did have a little bit of a bent bracket, so that made this a little tricky, but, and we obviously had the
pinion snubber.
So we had a few things kind of gonna hold us back. Since the top of the IRS and everything's clean, we noticed the bottom, we gotta clean it. We'll definitely get to it. I don't really want to pressure wash and spray it down here in the shop, but we'll definitely get to that. Brad is getting some transmission fluid in the T56.
It's much easier to do it this way than to attempt to take the shifter off.
Oh yeah, you can, unless you cut a hole for it.
I'm not cutting holes.
Yeah. So we're using some ATF. That's what was recommended by Tremec. They have a special transmission fluid, but like most things, it is out of stock, back ordered, no ETA. So Mike went ahead and just told me to use some ATF, and then we actually poured it in. This is we're not using Mercon LV, we're using a different ATF, but that's the container we're using to pump it in. All right, so Brad's been working on OG, while I've been working on getting some photos of one of the part out cars, the turbo 4-valve Cobra. That one has a lot of cool parts, but rear is on. That's rear larger Cobra brakes. And Brad is installing the front Cobra brakes. We realized that we had some limitations in the stopping department.
A little bit.
And while these are not the best thing out there, they are significantly better than GT brakes.
And they were here.
And they were here, so that helps out as well. So we're gonna get those on, bleed all 4 corners. Got a few more other things to do. We also got them pretty Borlas to get in there.
Do the Borlas and then button up inside, and we should be able to run it hopefully within like a couple hours.
Yeah. All right, I'm very excited. Wheels are on. About to see where the suspension is gonna sit. We cut half coil out of the stock Cobra springs. Those of you guys who don't know, 0304 Cobra springs you can actually cut because the springs are linear, and that's that. Half coil cut, that's what I've done before. Hopefully it puts the rear end not too low, not too high. That's kind of the goal. So it looks like we're sitting about where we were, maybe a little higher. Go ahead and push the rear end down, and I think it'll probably sell right where we want it. Yeah.
It's still a little on the lift.
Yeah.
So we're not completely done. We still got to do the mufflers.
Yep. I think the front's still on the lift too.
Oh, it definitely is. You got to jack it up, put it on there.
Yep. But yeah, no, I think that's in the realm. So I wanted to keep the same stance, not too low, not too high, as before. We also got that side exhaust. But I think the half coil cut out was the move there. So
it fit. It went in pretty easy after we figured out what we were messing up on.
Yep. Is it Borla time?
It's Borla time.
Oh man, I'm so excited.
you.